Hello everyone. In this video lecture, I am going to cover basic concepts related to refrigeration and air conditioning. Let's start with basic principles of refrigeration. In order to understand the principle of refrigeration, I have drawn three bodies over here. First body is of heat engine, second is of heat pump, and third is of refrigerator. Now we know that the main purpose of the refrigerator is to cool the space. To understand the principle of the refrigerator, we need to understand the principle of heat engine. In case of heat engine, it is a device which transfers the heat from the hot body to the cold body, and during this heat transfer, it produces certain amount of work. Now as we know that heat will automatically transfer from the high temperature body to the low temperature body. This is the basic nature of heat transfer. That is, heat will automatically transfer from high temperature body to the low temperature body. So if the hot body which is having high temperature and the cold body which is having low temperature, so heat will automatically transfer from high temperature to low temperature. Now heat engine is a device which takes up the heat from the hot body, converts certain amount of heat into the mechanical work and reject rest of the heat to the cold body. So during the heat transfer from hot to cold body, heat engine produce the work. Now next figure is of heat pump. Heat pump is a device which transfer the heat from the cold body to the hot body. Now as per the basic nature of heat transfer automatically from the high temperature body to the low temperature body. But to transfer the heat from the low temperature body to the high temperature body, that is in the reverse direction, you require certain external work. So heat pump is a device which consumes the work in order to transfer heat from the cold body to the hot body. Similar to the heat pump, there is a refrigerator. Refrigerator works on the similar principle as that of the heat pump. So refrigerator is also a device which is used to transfer the heat from the cold body to the hot body, and in order to do that, it consumes the external work. Now, there is a slight difference between the objective of heat pump and the refrigerator. The objective of heat pump is to maintain the temperature of the hot body, whereas in case of refrigerator, the main objective is to maintain the temperature of the cold body. As we see that refrigerators are used in summer seasons, because in the summer season you need to cool the space, that is you need to cool the space in which the refrigerator or air conditioning is placed. So refrigerator and the air conditioner both works on the similar principle, that is to cool the space. So refrigerator or the air conditioners, they are more specifically used in summer seasons, whereas heat pump is similar to the heater, and heat pump is used during winter season in order to heat up the space. So the heat pump is to transfer the heat to the hot body, whereas the objective of the refrigerator is to absorb the heat from the cold body. So basically the design of the heat pump and refrigerator, they are very similar, but its main objective are different. Now let's see what are the heat pump. Heat pump is a device which is used to absorb the heat from the cold body, that is surrounding, and deliver it to the hot body as shown in the figure. And thus by doing so, it maintains the constant temperature of hot body for the useful purpose. In this device, external work is required to convey the heat from the cold body to the hot body. Now, without any external work, heat cannot transfer from cold body to the hot body, because it is against the basic rule of heat transfer. Now, heat pump is used during winter seasons. Let's say that there is a room which is to be heated up during winter season. Now there is surrounding. The surrounding is nothing but the region which is outside the room. So let's say that surrounding temperature is Ts and the room temperature is Tr. Now during winter season, the surrounding is very cool because it is winter season. So in winter, Ts temperature will be less as compared to that of the Tr temperature. So means what? Surrounding can be considered as cold body and room can be considered as hot body. This hot body is nothing but comparatively the temperature of the room will be greater as compared to that of the surrounding temperature in case of winter. Now what we need to do? We need to transfer the heat from the surrounding to the room. Now heat can't transfer from the low temperature body to the high temperature body. Here surrounding temperature is less as compared to that of the room temperature during winter season. Now heat cannot transfer automatically from the low temperature to the high temperature. We require certain external work to be done, and that this pump is a device which consumes that external work in order to transfer the heat from the surrounding to the room temperature. Now the main purpose of the heat pump is to maintain the room temperature, that is to transfer the heat to the room and maintain the temperature of the room. Now let us understand the concept of refrigerator. Refrigerator and air conditioner, they both are having same purpose, that is to maintain the temperature of cold body. Refrigerator are used for the products, whereas air conditioning is used for the comfort of human life. Now refrigerator is a device which removes the heat from the cold body and rejects it to the hot body, and thus maintains the temperature of the low body of the cold body for the useful purpose. So the operation in the heat pump and refrigerator is same. It transfers the heat from the cold body to the hot body and it consumes the external work, but the purpose are different. In this refrigerator, external work is required to convey the heat from the cold body to the hot body. So it is a device or a system which is used to maintain the low temperature below the atmospheric temperature within the required space. Now refrigerator are used in case, refrigerator or air conditioning are used in case of summer season. In summer, surrounding temperature is very high because it is summer season and room temperature is less. So room temperature is less as compared to that of the surrounding temperature in case of summer season. Now the room which is already at low temperature, from that room you need to transfer the heat to the surrounding. Now heat can't transfer from the low temperature body to the high temperature body automatically. It requires certain external work. So refrigerator is a device which consumes that external work in order to transfer the heat from the low temperature body to the high temperature body. So in conclusion, we can say that heat pump is like a heater which is used in case of winter in order to transfer the heat to the room, and refrigerator or air conditioning is similar to that of the AC, in which the heat is transferred to the room in case of summer in order to cool the room. Application of refrigeration. It is used in storage and transport of foodstuff as dairy products, fruits, vegetables, meat and fishes. Which is very common that refrigerator is used to cool the certain products so that they won't degrade during the transportation. So these products are dairy products, fruits, vegetables and meat. Second, preservation of medicines and syrup. Certain medicines and syrup are required to store at a temperature below the atmospheric temperature or below the normal surrounding temperature. So in order to cool the medicines and syrup, the refrigerators are used. It can be used to manufacture ice, photographic films and rubber products. Refrigerators are also used for processing of petroleum and other chemical products. It can be used for the liquefaction of gases like nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, etc. It can be used in cooling water, for comfort air conditioning of auditoriums, hospitals, residence, offices, factories, hostels or computer rooms. So anywhere where air conditioning is used, that can be considered as an application of refrigeration. Now what are refrigerant? As you see that in case of air conditioning and in case of refrigerator, certain liquid or certain medium is used to absorb the heat from the space. So this medium which absorbs the heat from the space is nothing but refrigerant. So we can say that refrigerant is a heat carrying medium which absorbs the heat from the space which is to be cooled and reject the heat to the surrounding, that is outside the refrigerator. This refrigerant is a working medium which undergoes various processes of refrigeration cycle which are used to produce the refrigeration. So refrigerator is nothing but a one kind of a medium. So it can be a liquid medium or the gaseous medium. So this medium are used inside the pipes of the refrigerator or air conditioner. So this medium is filled inside the pipes of AC or fridge, which absorbs the heat from the space which is to be cooled and rejects the heat to the surrounding. And this is how it can maintain the temperature of the space. Now, for a good refrigerant, there has to be certain specific properties. These properties are: it should have high latent heat of vaporization and low specific volume. Second property, it should have good thermal conductivity for rapid heat transfer. So it should have good thermal conductivity means what? It can conduct the heat very easily so that rapid heat transfer takes place. But obvious, it should be non-toxic, non-inflammable and non-corrosive. Fourth point, it should have low specific heat in the liquid state and high specific heat in vapor state. Next, it should have high coefficient of performance. Its performance should be optimum. And last, it should be economical in initial cost and maintenance cost. Next, the refrigerant which are commonly used in practice are: first, ammonia. Ammonia can be considered as NH3. The properties of ammonia is highly toxic, inflammable, good thermal conductivity or good thermal properties, high refrigerating effect per kg of refrigerant. Refrigerating effect means what? The amount of heat which is to be removed from the space in order to cool the space. So ammonia is having very good refrigerating effect. This refrigerant ammonia is used in large industrial and commercial refrigeration system, and it is mostly used in vapor absorption refrigeration cycles like ice plants, cold storage plants and packing plants. Next, carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is also a type of refrigerant. The properties of carbon dioxide is colorless, non-toxic, non-inflammable and non-corrosive gas. It gives low refrigerating effect. So compared to the ammonia, carbon dioxide is having low refrigerating effect. It means to absorb same amount of heat from the space, the carbon dioxide requires more power as compared to that of the ammonia. Carbon dioxide is used in marine refrigeration system. Next, air. Air can also be used as a refrigerant. The properties of air are easily available without any cost, non-toxic, completely safe and low refrigerant at low coefficient of performance. The performance of air as a refrigerant is very low. However, air being less denser as compared to the other refrigerant, it is used in aircraft air conditioning system because the density of air is very less as compared to that of other refrigeration system, as compared to that of other refrigerants. R11. R11 is also called as trichloromonofluoromethane or Freon 11. Properties of this refrigerant is non-toxic, non-flammable and non-corrosive. Uses: it is used in small buildings and factories for the refrigeration purpose. Next, R12. It is called as dichlorodifluoromethane or Freon 12. Property of R12 is non-toxic, non-flammable, non-explosive, high coefficient of performance and most suitable refrigerant. It is used in domestic vapor compression refrigeration. So the fridge which we are using in our home, in that fridge the refrigerant is R12. So this R12 is very famous for the domestic vapor refrigeration system. Next, R22, monochlorodifluoromethane or Freon 22. The property of R22 is non-toxic, non-flammable, non-explosive, require less compressor displacement. It is used in commercial and industrial low temperature application, that is in air conditioning. So for the commercial AC, R22 is used, and for domestic fridge, R12 is used. Next, refrigerating effect. What is refrigeration effect? It is defined as the amount of heat absorbed by the refrigerant from the space which is to be cooled. The capacity of refrigeration system is expressed in terms of tons of refrigeration, which is also called as unit of refrigeration. As you see that when you buy AC, the capacity of AC is represented in terms of ton, that is 1 TR, 2 TR, 1 ton, 2 ton. So you are saying that this AC is of 2 ton. It means what? It is having refrigeration capacity of 2 tons. Now what is refrigeration capacity? Refrigeration capacity is nothing but the amount of heat which is absorbed by the refrigerant from the space which is to be cooled. For example, if you want to cool the space, then from this room the amount of heat which is to be removed can be expressed in terms of refrigeration effect. Now this heat can be represented in terms of tons of refrigeration. So 1 ton capacity of refrigerator means what? It can remove the heat from the space which is to be cooled, and that heat is represented in terms of 1 ton of refrigeration. So 1 ton of refrigeration is nothing but the unit of heat, not mass. Okay. Now 1 ton of refrigeration, it is defined as, this definition is very important in terms of refrigeration and air conditioning. It is defined as the refrigeration effect produced by melting 1 ton of ice from and at 0 degrees Celsius in 24 hours. It can also be defined as the amount of heat required to remove in order to form 1 ton of ice in 24 hours from the water at 0 degrees Celsius. Now let us try to understand this definition which is given over here. It is the refrigerating effect produced by melting 1 ton of ice. So let's say that you have an ice cubes. The weight of the ice cubes is 1 ton. 1 ton means 1000 kg. So you have an ice of 1000 kg. Now this ice has to be converted into the water at 0 degrees Celsius. So when the ice is converted into the water, ice itself is at 0 degrees Celsius and it has to be converted into the water, and this water will also be at 0 degrees Celsius. So to convert ice to water which is at same temperature, that is at 0 degrees Celsius, we need to remove the latent heat. So latent heat is a type of heat which is to be removed from the substance, and when the heat is removed, latent heat is removed from the substance, phase transfer takes place. So when the heat is removed from the ice, the solid phase of the ice is converted into the liquid phase. However, during this heat transfer, temperature remains constant, that is at 0 degrees Celsius. So at 0 degrees Celsius, ice will melt into the water, and in order to melt the ice, we require certain amount of heat which is to be removed from the ice. Now this process takes place for 24 hours. So we need to find out the amount of heat which is to be removed from the ice, and the capacity of ice is 1000 kg. So we have 1000 kg of ice. The weight of this ice is 1000 kg, and we have to remove the heat from the ice. Now what should be the amount of heat which is to be removed from the ice of 1000 kg so as to produce the water at 0 degrees Celsius. Now this process takes place for 24 hours. So for 24 hours we need to remove certain quantity of heat. So we need to find out for what quantity of heat we have to remove from this ice in 24 hours to melt it at 0 degrees Celsius. So let us find out what is the amount of heat which is to be removed. So when this amount of heat which is to be removed is found out, that is equivalent to the 1 ton of refrigeration. Now we know that the latent heat of ice is 335 kJ per kg. Then refrigeration effect produced by 1 ton of ice in 24 hours is 335 into 1000 divided by 24. So latent heat is means what? Latent heat is the heat which is removed from the ice to convert ice into water. Now latent heat over here is 335 kilojoule per kg. So kilojoule per kg, we have 1 ton of ice. So weight of 1 ton of ice is 1000 kg. So we will multiply 1000 over here upon, in this process takes place for 24 hours. That is, it requires 24 hours to melt this 1 ton of ice at 0 degree Celsius. So time is 24 hours. So we will divide it by 24. So you will get 335 upon into 1000 upon 24, and the unit will be kilojoule per hour. So answer will be 14,000 kilojoule per hour. This hour will get converted into the minute. So it will become 14,000 by 60. So 14,000 by 60 will be kilojoule per minute, and which will be equal to 232.6 kilojoule per minute. Now this minute is converted into second by dividing it by 60. So finally you will get the answer as 3.89 kilowatt. So 3.89 kilowatt is the amount of heat which is to be removed from 1000 kg of ice. This is the amount of heat. Q is equal to 3.89 kilowatt. Kilowatt means what? Kilojoule per second. Kilowatt can be considered as kilojoule per second. So means what? 3.89 kilojoule per second of heat is to be removed from the ice for 24 hours. For 24 hours to convert it into water at 0 degree Celsius. Now as the heat is removed from the ice, it can produce the cooling effect. So this cooling effect can be represented as 1 ton of refrigeration. Now ideally in actual practice, 1 ton is considered as 900 kg. So instead of 1000 kg, it can be considered as 900 kg in case of refrigeration. So if we consider 900 kg, then 1 ton will be equal to what? 1 ton of refrigeration will be equal to what? 335 into 900 divided by 24. And it can be converted into kilowatt, that is kilojoule per second, by dividing it by 3600. So final answer for 1 ton will be 3.5 kilowatt. So you need to remember this value over here, that is 1 ton of refrigeration. 1 ton of refrigeration is equal to 3.5 kilowatt. So unit of 1 ton of refrigeration is always in terms of unit of heat, and that is equal to 3.5 kilowatt. It means when your AC is of 1 TR, that is of 1 ton, it means from the room 3.5 kilojoule of heat is removed per second. And when the AC is of 2 TR, that is of 2 ton, then from the same space, the AC will remove 3.5 into 2, that is 7 kilojoule of heat per second. So you can say that as the TR, that is tons of refrigeration for the air conditioning, changes, the amount of heat which is to be removed from the space will get double. Now let us understand a term which is used to measure the performance of refrigeration system, and that term is coefficient of performance. It is defined as the ratio of refrigeration effect to work required to compress the refrigerant in the compressor. It is reciprocal to the efficiency of heat engine, and thus value of coefficient of performance is greater than unity. So it is the ratio of refrigeration effect to the work required for the compression. So COP can be written as refrigeration effect. Refrigeration effect can be represented as the amount of heat which is to be removed from the space. So Q is the heat which is to be removed from the space, and W upon W is the work which is required to transfer the heat from the low temperature body to the high temperature body. So the formula for COP is the heat which is to be removed from the space which is to be cooled upon work which is required to transfer the heat from the low temperature body to the high temperature body. This formula is very important to measure the performance of refrigerator. Now the value of COP will always be greater than 1. Types of refrigerator. There are total 2 types of refrigerator. First is natural refrigerator. In natural refrigerator, cooling effect is produced by the evaporation of liquid or the sublimation of solids. When liquid evaporates, it absorbs the heat from the surrounding and thus produces the cooling. Similarly, in sublimation of solid, it absorbs the heat from the surrounding and produces the cooling effect. The best example of natural refrigerator is the earthen pot. In the earthen pot, that is in the water pot, there are small pores between the sand particles. So in case of earthen pots, if you can see over here, this earthen pots is made up of what? Sand. So between the sand particles, between the two sand particles, there are small pores. So in these small pores, the water will get interrupted. So there is some water particles between the two sand particles. Now these water particles will absorb the heat from the water which is inside this earthen pot. So the water particles which is between the sand particles, it will absorb the heat from the water which is inside the earthen pot and transfer it to the surrounding. So while it absorbs the heat from the water which is inside the inside this earthen pot, its phase change takes place. It means what? The water particle which is between the pores of the sand particle, it absorbs the heat from the water which is inside this earthen pot, and because of this heat transfer, these water particles evaporate and vaporization of these water particles takes place. So in this case, the cooling of the water which is inside this earthen pot takes place without any work. So this kind of refrigerator is considered as natural refrigerator. So in this case, the cooling effect is produced because of the evaporation of liquid which is in the pores between the sand particle. Or refrigeration effect can also be produced in certain applications by the sublimation of solids. The best example of sublimation of solid is the dry ice. Dry ice means what? Dry carbon dioxide. So in case of dry ice, the solid will absorb the heat and it directly convert into the gaseous form, that is in the vapor form. There won't be any liquid phase between the solid and the gaseous form, that is solid will directly convert into gas. It takes place in case of dry carbon dioxide, that is dry CO2. So in case of dry CO2 or dry ice, the sublimation of solid takes place. It means what? Solid will directly convert into gases, and during this transformation from solid to gas, heat will release. So the solid will absorb the heat from the surrounding and thus it produces the cooling effect. For now, the best example for the refrigeration which you need to remember is earthen pot, in which the water between the sand particles absorbs the heat from the water which is inside the pot, and during this heat transfer, the water particles which is inside the pores is converted into the vapor, and because of this vaporization of the liquid particles, heat transfer takes place and water will get cooled. Next is the mechanical refrigerator. In the mechanical refrigerator, refrigerating effect, that is cooling effect, is produced by the external source of mechanical energy or heat energy. Mechanical refrigerator are further classified into three parts: vapor compression refrigerator, vapor absorption refrigerator, and air refrigerator. Next, in this case, we are going to study vapor compression refrigeration system. This theory is very important as for the exam point of view. Now let us understand what is vapor compression refrigeration system. To understand this system, there are four components over here. First is evaporator, second is compressor, third is condenser, and fourth is expansion valve. There are fans attached at the evaporator side and at the condenser side. Now inside this tube, you can see that there are different colors inside this tube. This is nothing but the refrigerant. This refrigerant could be any refrigerant like ammonia, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, or it could be R12, R22, or any refrigerant. Depending upon the type of application, we are using the refrigerant. So this evaporator is the component which is kept inside the room. So have you seen the AC? In the AC, in the split AC, the component which is fit inside the room is nothing but the evaporator. So evaporator is the device which is to be kept inside the space which is to be cooled. So evaporator, let's say that this is the room, then inside the room the evaporator is kept. Now in the evaporator is nothing but the set of tubes. So you can see the set of tubes over here. In the set of this tube there is a refrigerant. So at the entry of the evaporator, if you can see the figure over here, at the entry of the evaporator, this is the evaporator, the refrigerant is of low pressure and low temperature. So low pressure, low temperature refrigerant enters into the evaporator. Now evaporator absorbs the heat from the space which is to be cooled. So this evaporator is inside the space which is to be cooled. It means what? Heat from the room will transfer to the evaporator. So as heat is transferred to the evaporator, the refrigerant will absorb the heat. So refrigerant which is inside this evaporator absorbs the heat from the surrounding space which is to be cooled, and as it absorbs the heat, the phase change of the refrigerant takes place. That is, the liquid refrigerant is converted into the vapor refrigerant. This is the very important point to remember, that is, liquid phase is converted into the vapor phase. It means what? The amount of heat which is absorbed by the evaporator is the latent heat, right? So in this case the temperature is not increased, but only phase transfer takes place from the liquid phase to the vapor phase. So as the evaporator absorbs the heat from the space, phase transfer takes place from liquid to vapor. At the exit of the evaporator, the refrigerant is low pressure and low temperature. This low pressure, low temperature vapor refrigerant enters into the compressor. Now the basic task of compressor is to compress the refrigerant. It means what? Pressure and temperature of the refrigerant increases. So at the exit of the refrigerant, you have high pressure and high temperature vapor refrigerant. So from low pressure to low temperature, it will convert into high pressure and high temperature. This vapor refrigerant of high pressure and high temperature will now enter into the condenser. Now what is the task of condenser? Condenser is a device which is used to reject the heat to the surrounding. So you can say that in case of split AC, there is one component which is kept inside the room, and there is one another component which is kept outside this room. And this component which is kept outside this room is having a fan attached to it, and if you go nearer to this component, then you will feel some hot air, and this component is normally placed outside the room. Fine. Now this component is nothing but the condenser. Now the refrigerant which is there inside this condenser will reject the heat to the surrounding air. So this is the surrounding air. So as the room is getting cooled, something has to get heated up. So the heat from the room will transfer to the refrigerant. Now this refrigerant will reject the heat to the surrounding air. Now this surrounding air is the air which is outside the room, which is to be cooled. Now as the refrigerant rejects the heat to the surrounding, its temperature reduces. So from high temperature, refrigerant will convert into low temperature, and during this heat rejection, phase transfer and the temperature both will reduce. It means what? The heat, sensible heat as well as latent heat, both is transferred to the surrounding. So temperature is also getting reduced, and phase transfer will also take place in the condenser. In the condenser, there is a fan which causes the heat transfer from the refrigerant to the surrounding air. So you can see one fan over here which is used to transfer the heat of the refrigerant to the surrounding air. So at the exit of the condenser, you have high pressure, low temperature liquid refrigerant. This high pressure, low temperature liquid refrigerant will now enter into the expansion device. The function of expansion device is just to reduce the pressure. So from high pressure, low temperature liquid refrigerant, it will convert into low pressure, low temperature liquid refrigerant. It means what? Only high pressure is reduced to the low pressure, and same liquid phase is converted into the liquid phase, which is over here. So only the pressure drop takes place inside this expansion device. Now the same cycle will get repeated, and you are getting continuous heat transfer from the space to the surrounding air. So this is how vapor compression refrigeration system works. Now if you see the animation over here, there are certain things which are written. This is high pressure hot gas. Here it is high pressure regular temperature liquid. This is an expansion valve. So in the compressor, pressure and temperature increases. In the condenser, temperature reduces because it rejects the heat to the surrounding air. And after the compressor, it will move to the expansion valve, in which high pressure is converted into the low pressure. Now this low pressure refrigerant will transfer to the evaporator, and because of this fan of the evaporator, the heat from the room is transferred to the refrigerant. So as the heat is taken up by the refrigerant which is inside this evaporator, its phase transfer takes place from liquid to vapor, and this is how this entire cycle will repeat. Now in this case, in order to absorb the heat from the space, we need to do some work with the help of compressor. And that's why this vapor compression refrigeration system is considered as power consuming device. Construction. VCR, that is vapor compression refrigeration system, consists of 4 components: evaporator, compressor, condenser and expansion device. In vapor compression refrigeration system, vapor is used as a refrigerant. It is circulated, in which it alternately evaporates, that is liquid to vapor, and condenses, that is vapor to liquid, and thus it undergoes change of phase. And because of this phase change, the heat transfer takes place from the room to the surrounding air. In the evaporation, it absorbs the latent heat from the space to be cooled, and in the condenser, it rejects the heat to the atmosphere. So during this refrigeration or air conditioning, your room is getting cooled and your surrounding is getting heated up. Now functions of 4 main parts of vapor compression refrigeration system. First component is the compressor. The function of compressor is to remove the vapor from the evaporator and increase its pressure and temperature so that it can reject the heat to the condenser. Now pressure of refrigerant from the compressor should be such that saturation temperature of vapor is higher than the temperature of cooling medium in the condenser, so that high pressure vapor can reject heat to the cooling medium in the condenser. Now in order to understand this statement, let us look at the figure for the VCR which is given in the previous slide. Now the pressure at the end of the compressor and the temperature at the end of the compressor should be more as compared to that of the surrounding temperature. Fine. Then only the heat will transfer from the refrigerant to the surrounding. Fine. So the main function of the compressor is to increase the pressure and temperature of the refrigerant in such a way that this temperature should be greater as compared to that of the surrounding temperature, so as to transfer the heat from the refrigerant to the surrounding air. Next is condenser. The function of condenser is to facilitate the heat transfer. That is, it transfers the heat from the hot refrigerant to the condensing medium, and this condensing medium is nothing but surrounding air in case of domestic refrigeration system. Fine. Next is expansion device. The function of expansion device is to meter the proper amount of liquid refrigerant and reduce the pressure of liquid refrigerant. So main function is to reduce the temperature so that liquid refrigerant can enter into the evaporator. Hence the liquid will vaporize in the evaporator at desired low temperature and absorbs the heat from the space. So evaporator is a device which provides the heat transfer surface through which low temperature liquid refrigerant absorbs the heat from the space which is to be cooled. So these are the 4 main parts of vapor compression refrigeration system. I have already covered the working part. So working part consists of 4 processes. First is compression process, second is condenser, third is expansion process, and fourth is evaporator. So these all 4 processes are already covered, and these 4 processes takes place according to the 4 components, that is evaporation, compression, condensation and expansion. Now let's move to the domestic vapor compression refrigeration. Domestic vapor compression refrigeration is nothing but a fridge which is used in domestic appliances. So you can see if schematic diagram of domestic refrigerator. This domestic refrigerator is very similar as compared to that of vapor compression refrigeration system, that is VCR, vapor compression refrigeration system. It consists of four components: evaporator coil. Evaporator coil is over here, that is in the freezing compartment. This evaporator coil is connected to the compressor. This compressor is now connected to the condenser, and this condenser is connected to the throttle valve, which is nothing but expansion device. So the components are similar or same as that of the vapor compression refrigeration system, that is evaporator, compressor, condenser and expansion device. Now this main function of the evaporator is to absorb the heat from the space which is to be cooled. So the refrigerant which is there inside this evaporator, its phase change will take place, that is it will transfer from liquid to vapor. So this vapor refrigerant will now move to the compressor. This compressor will be at the back end of the refrigerator. Now this compressor will increase the pressure and temperature of the vapor. So this is the high pressure vapor refrigerant at the end of the compressor. Now this high pressure and high temperature vapor refrigerant will move to the condenser coil. This condenser coil will reject the heat to the surrounding air, and this surrounding air is nothing but the back portion of the fridge. So in the back portion of the fridge you will feel a hot air, because the evaporator, the refrigerant which is there inside this condensing tube, it will reject the heat to the surrounding air. So in this case the heat is absorbed from the surrounding, that is the space which is to be cooled, and in this case the heat will reject to the surrounding air. Now because of the heat rejection, the temperature of the refrigerant will reduce. Also the phase transfer takes place from the vapor to the liquid phase. So at the end of the condenser you have high pressure liquid refrigerant, which is now passes through the throttle valve so as to convert it into the low pressure liquid refrigerant. And now the same cycle is get repeated, and the space which is inside this refrigerator is getting cooled. Construction: it consists of evaporator installed in the freezing component of the refrigerator. One end of the evaporator is connected to the suction side of the compressor, and other end is connected to the condenser through the throttle valve. So one end of the evaporator is connected to the compressor, and other end of the evaporator is connected to the condenser with the help of throttle valve. Normally the condenser installed at the back side of the refrigerator. This condenser and compressor both are installed at the back side of the refrigerator. The delivery side of the compressor is connected to the condenser. So this compressor is connected to the condenser at the delivery side. Now these refrigerators are available in capacities such as 65 liter, 100 liter, 165 liter, 275 liter and 1000 liters. So now we have studied about VCR. Now let's move to the another type of refrigeration system, that is vapor absorption refrigeration system. Now vapor absorption refrigeration system is slightly different as compared to that of vapor compression system. In this system, compressor is not used, and instead of compressor there is a generator and absorber. So in case of vapor absorption refrigeration system, that is in VAR, compressor is not used, and instead of compressor we are using generator and absorber. Now you can see four components over here: evaporator, then instead of compressor you have this assembly of generator and absorber, third component is condenser, and fourth is expansion device. So the rest of the three components are similar as compared to that of the VCR. However, instead of compressor there is an absorber and generator assembly. Now let us understand how this system works. So there is an evaporator. At the entry of the evaporator you have low pressure and low temperature liquid ammonia. So ammonia is there inside this tube, and this ammonia will act as a refrigerant. Now this ammonia inside the evaporator absorbs the heat from the space which is to be cooled. Now as the heat is absorbed from the space which is to be cooled, the low temperature liquid ammonia will convert into vapor ammonia, that is phase transfer takes place. It means what? The heat which is to be absorbed is equal to the latent heat of ammonia. Now this low temperature, low pressure ammonia vapor will pass to the absorber. So there is one absorber over here. In this absorber, the cooling water is added to the liquid ammonia. Now, sorry, vapor ammonia. So the cooling water is added to the vapor ammonia. So now ammonia is having great affinity of water. Affinity of water means what? It can easily mix up with the water. So when the cooling water is added to the vapor ammonia, it can easily absorb inside this water and you will get a solution, and that solution is nothing but strong solution. So strong solution means what? A solution of water and ammonia. A solution of water and ammonia in which ammonia content is higher. So when the ammonia content is higher as compared to that of the water, then it is considered as strong solution. And when the ammonia and the ammonia content is less as compared to that of the water, it is considered as a weak solution. Now we will get strong solution over here in the absorber. So in the absorber, cooling water absorbs the ammonia vapor. So that's why it is called as absorber. So as the ammonia vapor is absorbed inside this water, we will get a strong solution of ammonia and water. Now this strong solution of ammonia and water will get transferred to the generator with the help of pump. So this strong solution is now inside this generator. A certain external heat is transferred to the generator. When the external heat is added to the generator, ammonia will get separated from the water. So as the ammonia will get separated from the water, small amount of ammonia still remain inside this water, so it is considered as weak solution. So weak solution consists of large amount of water and small portion of ammonia. So in the generator, ammonia is separated. And as the strong solution will move from the absorber to the generator with the help of the pump, the low pressure, low temperature ammonia vapor will convert into the high pressure, high temperature ammonia vapor. Now in this case, instead of compressor, we are using pump, because pump is a device which is used for liquids and compressor is a device which is used for gases. So if there was a vapor, we have to use a compressor, but now this vapor is absorbed in the absorber. So we have a liquid solution instead of gaseous solution. So in order to handle the liquid, we are using pump. So instead of compressor, we are using pump to handle the liquid, and this liquid is nothing but a strong solution of ammonia and water. This strong solution of ammonia and water will enter into the generator, and some external source of heat is supplied inside this generator so as to separate the ammonia from the water. So as the ammonia is separated from the water, this ammonia will go to the condenser, and the weak solution of water, that is a solution which contains high amount of water, will now this high pressure, high temperature ammonia vapor will move to the condenser. In the condenser, ammonia will reject the heat to the surrounding air, and because of this heat rejection, temperature of the ammonia is reduced. So high pressure, high temperature ammonia vapor will convert into high pressure, low temperature liquid ammonia. Now this liquid ammonia will move to the expansion device, and in the expansion device, low pressure will convert into high pressure is converted into the low pressure. That is, pressure drop will take place. So at the entry of the evaporator, we will be having low pressure, low temperature liquid ammonia, and this entire cycle will repeat it. Now we have already covered the working of vapor absorption refrigeration system. Let's go through it again. Low pressure, low temperature vapor ammonia coming from the evaporator enter into the absorber. In the absorber, ammonia is absorbed by the weak solution coming from the generator through the throttle wall at 0.5. Now due to the absorption of ammonia in the water, solution becomes strong. Now due to the absorption process, the heat is released and rejected to the cooling water. Now the strong solution from the absorber is pumped into the generator, where it is heated and ammonia vapor is separated from the solution. In generator, heat is supplied from the external source. The weak solution at 0.4 is flowing back to the absorber, and because of the heat supplied, ammonia is released from the strong solution, and so the solution which is left is nothing but the weak solution. So weak solution will move back to the absorber through the throttle wall. Again, the weak solution in the absorber absorbs the ammonia which is coming from the evaporator, and this cycle will goes on repeated. Now the ammonia vapor which is coming from the generator passes through the condenser, and in the condenser it is condensed, that is it rejects heat to the cooling medium. Then the liquid ammonia is throttled through the expansion device and it will enter into the evaporator. In the evaporator, ammonia absorbs the latent heat of vaporization to produce the refrigeration effect, and this cycle is completed. Now let us study the comparison of vapor compression and vapor absorption refrigeration system. First point, working method. In case of vapor compression refrigeration system, working method is refrigeration is compressed, whereas in case of vapor absorption system, refrigeration is absorbed and heated. Second point, type of energy supplied. In case of vapor compression refrigeration system, mechanical work is supplied to the compressor, whereas in case of vapor absorption refrigeration system, heat energy is supplied to the generator. To operate the VCR, we need to supply work to the compressor, whereas in case of VAR, there is no compressor, but still we need to supply the heat to the generator. Work input. More compressor work is required. In case of VAR, less mechanical energy is required to run the pump. So the energy which is required to run the pump is very less as compared to that of the energy which is required to run the compressor. Performance. Coefficient of performance is very high in case of VCR, whereas it is low in case of VAR. Capacity. It is limited to 1000 ton for single compressor, whereas VAR is possible for more than 1000 ton. So the capacity for vapor absorption refrigeration system is higher as compared to that of VCR. Noise. VCR is more noisy, whereas VAR are quite in operation. Leakage. More leakage is possible due to high pressure loss, whereas in this case almost there is no leakage. Operating cost. Operating cost for vapor compression refrigeration system is high because compressor consumes the more work, whereas in case of VAR, operating cost is less because less heat energy is required in case of generator. Now the refrigerant used in the vapor compression refrigeration system is R12, and for vapor absorption refrigeration system it is ammonia. Now let us move to the second part of refrigeration and air conditioning, that is air conditioning. Air conditioning is not a process of only heating or cooling to some desired temperature. However, it also deals with the conditioning or controlling of air. Now the complete process of air conditioning includes the following process. First is cooling or heating the air, addition of moisture to the air or removal of moisture from the air, controlling the movement of air, purifying the air, addition of fresh air from the outside, and distribution of air. Now in case of fridge, the main function is to cool the space. However, the function of air conditioning is much more as compared to that of the refrigerator. So these are the all functions of the air conditioning. Now the functions of air conditioning is not only to cool the air but to remove the moisture from the air, to control the movement of the air, to purify the air, and to add fresh air from the outside, and to distribute the air. So the function of the air conditioning is vast and more as compared to that of air conditioning. Now we require to control the moisture so as to maintain the comfort level of the person which is there inside the space which is to be cooled. Now in air conditioning, it is defined as the simultaneous control of temperature, air humidity, air movement, and air cleanliness. The purpose of refrigeration is only to cool this space, whereas the function of air conditioning is to cool the space. Other than that, it is used to humidify the air, to control the movement of the air, and to clean the air. So the purpose of air conditioning is more as compared to that of refrigeration. Now let us understand two different types of refrigeration air conditioning system. Now classification of air conditioning system is based upon first criteria according to the arrangement of the equipment, unitary system and central system. In the unitary system, different components of refrigeration air conditioning system is manufactured and assembled as a unit in the factory, and this unit is installed near the space which is to be conditioned. The example of unitary system is nothing but window AC and split AC. So in case of window AC and split AC, all the components are assembled as a single unit. In case of central system, the different components are manufactured in the factory and assembled at the site. Now this kind of a system is used for conditioning the theaters, cinema, restaurants, halls, big factory space, etc. So for very large space we are using central system, and for small space like home and office we are using unitary system. Example of unitary system are window AC and split AC, and for the central system the AC which are used in theaters and in the large space is the central AC system. According to the purpose, comfort air conditioning and the industrial air conditioning. Comfort air conditioning is used for the human beings, and industrial air conditioning system is used for the products. According to the season of the year, winter air conditioning and summer air conditioning. Now, summer air conditioning is to cool the space and winter air conditioning is used to heat up the space. Window air conditioning. This is the schematic diagram of window air conditioning system. This is the space which is inside the room, and this is the wall which separates the inside space to the outside space. So on the left side of the wall, this component is connected to a space which is inside the room, and on the right side of the wall, this component is connected which is at the surrounding. Now this cool air, the air from the space which is to be cool enters into this evaporator. So this is the series of evaporator over here. Now these evaporator are similar to the tubes, and inside this evaporator tubes there is a refrigerant. Now this evaporator is connected to the compressor over here. Air conditioning system will also consist of four components. First is evaporator, second is compressor, third is condenser, and fourth is expansion device. Now evaporator is connected to the compressor over here. This compressor is outside this room. Compressor will now further connect it to these condensing tubes. So these are the condensing tubes which rejects the heat to the surrounding air. And the condensing tube is connected to the throttle valve, and in the throttle valve there is instead of throttle valve we are using a capillary tube. The function of capillary tube is similar to the throttle valve. Now let us see one animation over here. This animation shows the working of window air conditioning system. We have a compressor. This is the condensing coil, and this surface is outside this is the surrounding, and this is the indoor space. So from this indoor space the air which is to be cooled will enter into the evaporator. So these are the evaporator coils, and beside the evaporator coils and the condenser coils there are fan. So air from the space which is to be cooled will enter into the evaporator, and this is the indoor space which is to be cooled. Now the air which is there inside this space will give heat to the evaporator. Inside this evaporator, phase transfer will take place because refrigerant will absorb the heat from the surrounding air. Now the heat is absorbed from the space which is to be cooled. The phase transfer of the refrigerant will take place, and because of this, the phase transfer, this refrigerant will enter into the compressor. Now vapor compressor will enter into the refrigerant, vapor refrigerant will enter into the compressor. So the main function of the compressor is to increase the pressure and temperature of the vapor refrigerant. At the end of the compressor, we have high pressure, high temperature vapor. This high pressure, high temperature vapor will enter into the condenser coil, in which it will reject the heat to the surrounding, and after this condenser coil, the heat will move towards the refrigerant will move towards the capillary tube, and this is how this entire process is repeated. Working, the hot air coming from the room is flowing through the evaporator. The cooling coil will absorb the heat from the air. The moisture of the air will get removed from the cooling surface by the process of condensation of air. The air is thus cooled and dehumidified to meet the requirement of the comfort air conditioning system. Now filter is also placed to clean the air which is coming from the room once it passed through the cooling coil. Now tray is provided below the cooling coil so as to collect the moisture which condenses from the circulation of air. Now the flow of hot air and the cold air is taking place by the evaporator blower. The refrigerating unit provides cooling effect at the evaporator. The condenser fan circulates the air on the outside of the condenser tube, and thus the refrigerant in the condenser will reject the heat to the surrounding atmospheric air. Now necessary fresh air which is allowed to mix with the recirculated room air so as to meet the ventilation requirement. Now ventilation of the air is controlled by the ventilation damper. The room temperature is controlled by the thermostat using on-off power supply to the compressor motor. So this is how the entire window air conditioning system will work. Limitation: window AC is much more noisier because compressor is very near to the room. Evaporator and condenser are enclosed in the single unit, and therefore evaporator cannot be used as an interior of the room because condenser requires an outside air for cooling. Other limitation is it requires appropriate size of the window or the hole in the wall to fit the air conditioner system. Now to overcome the disadvantage or limitation of Windows air conditioning system, the next air conditioning system is the split air conditioning system. In the split air conditioning system, the evaporator coil with the fan is attached inside this room, and the other components like condenser, compressor and expansion device, they are connected at the outside space, and this evaporator will connect it to the other components with the help of tubes. Construction: this unit differs from the Windows AC in terms of split AC, that is, split AC consists of two parts. In split air conditioning system, the Windows air conditioning system is divided into the two parts. First part includes evaporator, filter, evaporator fan and grill. They are placed inside the room. Second part includes condenser, condensing fans and compressor, and this is placed outside the room. The first part and second part are connected by the small diameter tubes. Therefore, small hole is required in the wall for the installation of split AC system. In case of Windows AC system, we require large hole in the wall, whereas in case of the split AC system, only small hole is required in the wall for the installation. The advantage of the split AC over the window AC is the compressor is outside the room and therefore no compressor noise is there. Second advantage is no window opening is required. Third advantage is compressor is outside the room and therefore no compression noise is there inside the room. So these are the advantage of split AC as compared to that of Windows AC. So this is the end of chapter 10 of basic mechanical engineering, that is refrigeration and air conditioning system. Thanks for watching.